Doug, great to have you with us here in studio. You've been out there. What is the source of this flooding, and do you see the water receding, or is it still coming in?
I'm starting to see it receding right now. It's coming in through the Fisher River. What's happening is all of the communities to the south of us, they have dikes that are built, and it runs all of the floodwaters from the south right into Peguis, and it overflows the Fisher River. So what we've seen is we've seen the water rise and over the last few days, and right now I think yesterday I noticed it starting to come down from the riverside, but what's happening is there's overland flooding. So the overland flooding is stuck in the high spots. So now that the water is starting to recede a little bit, the water is still sitting in high spots and still flooding out a lot of areas. So there's a lot of overland flooding that still has to be dealt with and has to be cleared.
How long do you think it's going to take for things to get back to normal?
Well, it's hard to say because the water has to recede. That's the first thing. But then we are seeing some people coming home. I was watching a video on Facebook this morning of a band member coming home, and they were live streaming as they were coming home. And as they're walking up to the house, the water was already receded from around the house, but when they went into the house, the water was just about 3 inches from the main floor flowing into the main level. Wow. But they had a split level house, like a three tri-level. So the basement, and they were just sobbing and crying, and you could see the humanity and what's happening there is they're coming in and they're just sobbing and crying as they're walking into their house live streaming, and they walked into the living room and then they walked into the basement, and you could see all of the water where the bedrooms were all flooded, completely flooded. So there's those issues that people have to deal with. So they may be able to get into the communities, but some of the roads are still flooded and washed out. Homes are flooded and damaged, so it's hard to say when people are going to be back home. Some people could probably go back soon, but there's going to be people that are going to be displaced for some time.
Flooding so devastating. More than 1,000 band members evacuated here. How's your family doing, Doug?
My family's doing fine. My father-in-law has health issues, so he's still evacuated, and what we're seeing is there's a lot of the children that are walking around in the hotels crying, wanting to go home. Mm-hmm. And we've seen that for the last couple of days. The children just sobbing and crying, I want to go home, I want to go home. And just for the last few days, like my wife was telling me, because she's working in the hotels here with the people that are evacuated. So we have the people that are just hurting, wanting to be home, but yet they can't go home, and some of them may not even have homes to go back to. And then the other thing is we have people that are with health issues that are displaced, and they require personal care. They require services, health services, and they're not getting that here, and it's very difficult for our community and our members and our families. Absolutely.
Doug, flooding like this keeps happening. Is there any long-term plan for finding a way to alleviate that?
Not that I know of. There is a dike that was started around the town site that went around, and it was never ever completed. But that is too low. That it has to be dealt with on a bigger level. Like there has to be a dike probably built right through Peguis. That's probably the only solution. Or the other thing would be to build dikes around each and every home that's in affected flood areas. From flying the drone in Peguis, I was able to see one house that had a dike built completely around it. That house was completely safe and dry, yet all of the other houses were flooded. So either we build dikes around every single home that's in a flood area, and I don't know how many that is, probably about 800 from what I'm hearing, or else we build a dike all the way through Peguis, and maybe that would be the most realistic solution. But I don't know. But there is solutions, and you could see down in the south in areas where the province has built dikes running right through from Lake Winnipeg to Lake Manitoba. So we see those things happening. If they could do that, surely they could build a small dike through Peguis and Fisher River.
Mm-hmm. Doug, devastating stuff. Thanks for the work you're doing and for sharing some time with us.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure, go.
Yeah, the other thing is our roads. The roads in Peguis are washed out and damaged to potholes. We're going to need new highways all the way through Peguis, so I think we're going to have to call on the province to do some road work all the way through Peguis as well.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Doug. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.